Each fall, the skies above the Gulf are filled with creatures the size and weight of musical notes. Last year, a radio-tagged female ruby-throated hummingbird with a contradictory mind left Tallahassee soon after birth in the spring and was recaptured 3 months later in Nome, Alaska, a journey of 3,500 miles. Migratory birds travel distances that simply don't make sense to a slow-footed mammal like me. It is difficult not to be fascinated by such extremes. Hundreds of species, driven by a genetic imperative to see more of the world in 6 months than I have in my lifetime. That visit to Gatamar, when I had just reached my teens, set up my next 25 years of wild fowling. Not a duck caller, nor particularly knowledgeable or intuitive about setting decoys, I was more of a shooter than a student of duck lore, biology, or behavior. However, I did love setting out decoys in the dark, without knowing where I was in relation to the rest of the universe. I loved feeling lost, with no points of reference except those created by my own imagination, a notion of belonging only to my surroundings. In the beginning, the birds were simply targets outlined against a variety of skies. I learned to appreciate them for their plumage, the becoming and slightly awkward manner in which they landed among the decoys, their contented after-splash shudder, and their embolism red breasts that begged for high heat and an impatient hand on the skillet. My favorite duck is the green-winged teal, the smallest of our dabbling species, a little migrant that shuffles south each winter. In the blind, I would have a presentiment of action that would all at once transfer itself into a wash of feathers overhead. The clean speed of diminutive wings leaning in formation over the decoys sounded like rain intruding on wind. Teal are demanding shots, and they are exacting morsels to cook. Eventually, I stopped shooting ducks, simply because I took more pleasure in watching them than I did in killing them. Since I do not like getting up in the dark anymore, I have stirred those early mornings at Gatamar and Lake Okeechobee and Eagle Lake into a ragout of pleasing memories. Last year, however, a good friend sent me a freezer bag filled with his and a hunting companion's 3-day limit of green-winged teal breasts, perfect morsels of duck flesh that, to an authority, are as valuable and as rare as Iranian caviar. I pan-sautéed the thumb-sized pieces of meat the next night in a very hot skillet, just long enough to say, "Please don't bugger this up. Please don't bugger this up." Later that evening, I decided to reconsider my position on duck hunting.